You're here right now because you have a very emotional interview with Kelsey Grammer.
I do. You know, I think we always knew he was an incredibly versatile actor. He's a singer. He does Shakespeare, and heaven knows he made us laugh for so many years. But what we never knew, and you're going to hear it, was the brutal detail of his sister's murder and how he struggled to live with a lifetime of grief. I want you to know that the facts are wrenching, but he says it's time to tell the story of someone he loved so much.
The eccentric, neurotic, hilarious.
Copernicus called, and you are not the center of the universe.
Dr. Frasier Crane.
Man talks endlessly on subjects that are of no interest to anyone but him.
Gee, I can't imagine what that's like.
For 20 years, we watched Kelsey Grammer on his own show Frasier, and before that on Cheers, where Dr. Crane was the endearingly pompous misfit in America's favorite bar.
Hello, Sam. Are you people really this ignorant, or do you just do this to torture me?
Sometimes the two go hand in hand.
But all this time we were laughing. We had no idea that the actor in real life was drowning in an undertow of sorrow. His colleagues on Cheers saw him battling cocaine and alcohol.
It's remarkable that I survived some of that. I might be asleep on one of the benches in the Cheers set, and then when it was my turn, I'd just stand up and go do it.
It was tender and touching that they didn't know exactly how to reach you.
Yeah. No, well, who could?
Who could heal the brutal loss of a sister you loved more than anything? He's written a book about her called Karen.
She was an Oreo cookie dipped in an ice cold Coca-Cola. She was a poem, a light, fun, innocent, and wise. Brave, a warrior, a sister, the best sister.
And you were older, but you say she was bolder.
She was. I was older, she was bolder.
He the sensitive kid, she the free spirit, urging him toward the adventure of being alive. The two of them had a loving mother, an absent father, and as he, a year older, tried to be the little man of the house, he says, she gave him courage.
About Karen, you said, I had trouble seeing the good in myself, but she always did.
Yeah, she was. I don't know why I spent so much time feeling like I was coming up short. And I always felt like I was missing it, you know, just a little bit behind the game, not quite up to it. And she always reassured me I was doing a good job, that I was a good brother.
Eventually, he moved to New York to start his acting career. She traveled west to become an artist, but they stayed close. Then, one night, they'd been talking on the phone, making plans for a holiday visit, when 6 hours later, there was horror. There's a knock on his door. A policeman tells him his sister has been murdered.
1975.
Yeah.
50 years this July.
That's right. Yeah.
As we go back through this odyssey, you tell me if it's something you want to tell or if it's too hard. You'll tell me.
I'm fine to go through some of it, yeah. I had horrors in my mind that were craving the truth, what I knew happened, and to feel her steps, her final steps, to be in her, to be with her.
So he sets out to face all those searing details he tried to block out long ago. The summer when 3 men on drugs have been raging through Colorado on a killing spree, 7 people murdered, and one night in an awful randomness, one of them was his sister, an 18-year-old girl standing in the parking lot of the Red Lobster where she worked. The men were going to rob the restaurant and decided the young girl could identify them, forced her into a car. In the book, he tells about reading the searing facts in the long police report for the first time.
Karen was put in the back. She was blindfolded at first. She kept saying, please don't let him kill me. Don't let them kill me.
They take her to an apartment.
Yeah.
They rape her.
They put her in a room, in a bedroom, and they went in and took turns with her.
And then they brought her back out and drove her
to this trailer park.
With a 4-inch blade, they struck her over and over.
42 times?
42 stab wounds, yeah.
And that loving brother, now a man in his 60s, even goes to the site where she was stabbed.
To the Red Lobster where she worked. to the parking lot where she was spotted, to the place where she was stabbed and crawled where she would die.
He learned from the police report how she fought to live while trying to crawl towards help.
She still crawled. Yeah. That's amazing. I'd never read that before, that her, the blood along some of the trailers that she walked along were at 3 feet high, so she was basically on her knees, trying to make her way to some help somewhere.
400 feet.
Yeah.
God, and the life force she had all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm. The fight that she had some real stuff. She was the good stuff.
All these years later, he stood at that crossroads.
I stood where I could not be so many years ago. And I cried out loud like a child whose hope had died.
And he says it was in these moments, after all the decades of suffering and trying to numb the pain, he could feel his sister urging him to write her story and move on from his grief about her death to the beauty of her life.
I spent a long time on her death and very little on her life. And that's what I hope people will take. Spend time on the life you lost. Spend time on the life you shared, rather than the day you lost it. The mission is to heal, but the mission is also to help heal other people. And by introducing them to Karen, it is my hope that they're reintroducing themselves to the loved ones they've lost in the same way.
Dedicated to the radiant girl in his favorite photograph, I was reminded of some lyrics he sang once for a musical about memory and the life still to live.
Let your memories melt into mist. They'll no longer exist in the new world. Bury your pain.
Boy, you sure resurrected something there. I keep this picture by my bed. She's by me all the time. This is your story, Karen. I hope you like it. Yeah.
And I thank Kelsey Grammer. 3 men were convicted of that murder. One of them is still in prison. Kelsey Grammer weighs in at every parole hearing to make sure he does not go free.
Well, the details there are just so wrenching. You can see it on his face. So why did he decide to tell the story now?
Well, you know, he did a program on mediums. You may have heard about it, you may have seen some of it. He says you can believe it or not. But he felt a medium actually spoke for Karen and said she wants you to tell her story and she wants you to move forward with your life, and that he's holding that close to his heart. He said he loves the saying that it's a false choice between the glass half full and the glass half empty if you can refill the glass, and that's what he's trying to do.
And he does that by celebrating her life.
That's right.
Okay, thank you for coming in, so powerful. Kelsey Grammer's book, Karen, Her Brother Remembers, is available on Tuesday.